What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Floyd Money Mayweather and Deontay Wilder. And this is what Floyd had to say. He said that Tyson Fury is solid. He's got skills. Deontay Wilder's got bombs, but we can make his skills a lot better. I'm here to help fighters, even Wilder. I'm here. All he has to do is let me know what he want to do, and we can make it happen. Wow. Okay, this reminds me of what Floyd said before about training Wilder, okay? And he said that after he lost. And he said, hey, if I train him, he can beat Tyson Fury. And of course, Tyson Fury, of course, responded back because I guess that must have struck a nerve with Fury. And he felt he needed to chime in and counterpunch Floyd Money Mayweather by saying it doesn't matter who is going to train him. He's still going to get battered. Right? So, Floyd, okay, it's not over. He said this. He said, if I train him, I can teach him how to win. Floyd has been especially supportive of Deontay Wilder after the Bronze Bomber lost that February 22nd. Okay, he says, win, lose, or draw, Deontay is our brother that has accomplished many triumphs, and as a community, we should all uplift and support him throughout it all. Mayweather posted on social media, no matter what, you're still a winner in my eyes, king. Wilder has exercised his rematch clause with Fury, of course, we know, and is expected to get back into the ring. Of course, that's a later date. But, that was what he said before, okay? And now he's reiterating, which the first passage I gave you guys from Floyd Mayweather. And what do I say to that? First of all, I don't think Deontay Wilder will accept that. Because if he didn't accept it back in July or before July, I don't think he'll accept it now being this close. I think all the guys or all the people that he's going to bring in his camp is selected. But other than that, I don't think that Wilder really cares for what Floyd has to say. And let me tell you why, okay? You guys can remember the first Wilder-Fury match, okay? And Floyd had Fury up, like the first, because they interviewed Floyd like after the fifth round, and Floyd was like, "Well, I have to give it, I have to give it to Fury, 5 rounds to Fury because he hasn't done anything. He has to change up what he's doing. If he's going to make something happen, he has to make it happen, unless Fury's going to run away with it." After the fight, Floyd was like, hey, the decision was bad. It was a bad decision. In fact, let me look up what Floyd said verbatim. Okay. All right, now this is all. Floyd responds to the first Wilder and Fury decision. Okay, so all right. Okay, now, Floyd actually called the first decision disgusting. That was the word I was looking for. So now that he's lost, Mayweather reaches out. Now, of course, we know Wilder and Mayweather hasn't had the best relationship, let's face it, and Floyd, I think, is getting older and he's starting to realize certain things, but I think Floyd, at the end of the day, will always be Floyd, okay? When people were comparing Wilder to Floyd, or Wilder's record possibly outdoing or beating Floyd's record, I think that's when the comparison was brought to the forefront. I think then Mayweather was like, you know what? No. Don't get me wrong. Floyd and a lot of people criticize Wilder and his skills. Wilder himself said you don't need skills, you got power. So he pretty much set himself up for that. But I think a little bit of Floyd, Floyd does drink a little haterade every now and then, especially when you start comparing himself to other fighters. You don't do that with Floyd. Floyd is the TBE. That's how it's going to be, and that's all it will be with Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay, you don't do that. If you want to get on Floyd's bad side, start comparing yourself, your resume, your legacy, your fights with other fighters to him and what he's done. And then you got an automatic enemy on the cool. You know what I mean? He's not going to come out and just blast you, but it's certain things that he will do to let you know that he doesn't like that. Look at Adrian Broner, for example. Adrian Broner was like the 4-time champion. He did that very quick. People forget that Adrian Broner went up from weight class to weight class to weight class to weight class. Okay? Then he went and he did that. But what did Floyd do after he said, I think it's too early for AB? And he didn't even tell AB that, and AB's supposed to be his little brother. So you can tell, because people start comparing Adrian Broner to Floyd. Man, he could probably be better than Floyd. I don't think Floyd liked that. And I don't think Floyd also didn't like the way people compared Wilder being a black American champion, undefeated, to himself. Okay? So what Floyd doesn't like is comparison, and what Floyd doesn't like is not being in the spotlight. You know what I mean? I just call it how I see it. So for him saying, hey, he's still our king, he's still that if I train him, that's just him getting a piece of that publicity because that's what people are talking about now. Can Wilder make the adjustments? Oh, you can make it with me. If I train him, because I'm the TBE. The TBE shows where everybody's supposed to be. I can counterpunch. I can counterpunch everybody. That's Floyd. And there's a reason why now the silence from Wilder, because you think of coming from someone like Mayweather. Okay, Wilder doesn't care for Mayweather. He's already told him, he's personally attacked him. Like, hey man, grow up, get a wife, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Because Wilder did not like what Floyd had to say. Even though what Floyd said was true, I believed in what Floyd said. Well, he had to work on some things, which now Wilder, I think, gets it. But he's not going to give Floyd the satisfaction of knowing that. He's not cool with Floyd like that. He might see him, he's cordial. That's cordial. That means if you're a celebrity, you see another guy, hey, how you doing? All right, keep stepping. It ain't, hey, let's have drinks, let's do this, let's do that. No. That's not Wilder and Floyd. That's not Wilder and Tyson. Okay, so it's one of those things where if Wilder has a beef with you, Wilder's not going to mess with you like that. That's why he hasn't responded, and my question, this is my number one question about Floyd. If Wilder would have won, or it would have been a weird decision like that, like it did the first one, kind of controversial, would Floyd have reached his hand out if Deontay Wilder wouldn't have lost? If Wilder never took an L, do you think Floyd would have the same energy to train him? Ask yourself this question. Why didn't he do that the first fight? Counterpunch. Why didn't Floyd ask Deontay Wilder after the first fight? He called it disgusting and moved on. But now Wilder takes an L. Okay, people should stop comparing him to me because I'm the TBE. But I can train him, though. As long as you're down here and up here, I'm up here. You're down here and up here. I love you. You're my king. You're always a winner. I mean, it's because it's almost like a subtle diss. You could look at it. Now, you could look at it like, hey, maybe Floyd's growing up. Maybe Floyd's, hey, I want to, because he is helping Haney and he is helping his fighter, Gervonta Tank Davis, in the gym. He is doing that. So you can't say that he's not doing that. So I want to make that clear. But then again, you could look at that on another way, another angle, people. Like, hey, well, maybe Floyd's doing this because Wilder lost. Now he knows, okay, people are not comparing Wilder to himself anymore. So now I can help him. Now he's humbled, quote unquote, right? That takes him out the hot seat. That takes him, that takes him out the Floyd Mayweather competitive jacket. That takes that jacket off of himself. So now, okay, I can praise him. I can talk about him. I can like him now. I didn't like him when they were comparing him to me. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Floyd Mayweather saying that he can train Deontay Wilder. He can get him in shape. He can get him ready to win against Tyson Fury in the trilogy. You guys tell me what you think about Floyd Mayweather's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.